It's a pleasure to be speaking with you. I'm a huge fan of the show. It's just such a great first season. Congrats to you. This being your first big project is just incredible. So,
Thank
congrats.
you. Yeah, it's crazy.
I think it was on your Instagram where you said, you're on a show that's telling the stories of your parents, made by the guys who made two shows you watched as a family growing up. Just can you talk a little about that full circle kind of journey?
Yeah, I mean it's amazing. Yeah, as you know, like my parents are both emergency workers. My mom's a ER nurse, my dad's a paramedic, and so the fact that I've spent 10 years working in the theater and auditioning for TV and waiting for the opportunity to come along, and then the opportunity that does come along is the opportunity to tell their story and to not only tell their story, but to tell their story with John Wells and Noah Wiley, the guys that, people don't realize this, but like emergency medicine was not really a respected specialty in the medical field until ER, the TV show, happened.
Mm,
And then like the number of like med students applying to specialize in emergency medicine, like like m- multiplied by 10x after the show came out.
it's wild.
They like ennobled this profession in a way. And so to like they didn't ennoble, it's a very noble profession in and of itself, but they brought awareness to it that made
Yeah.
people see it and appreciate it in a different way. And so to be able to work with those guys on this story is just a miracle.
And this show is clearly it's become like appointment television for people on Thursday, which is also kind of unheard of now. We see people live tweeting it on social media. Some of the reaction just wanted to read. The Pit has reached unfathomable levels of good old-fashioned TV. It's the one thing in this country we can agree on that the Pit rules. It also has one of the most genuine and effective word of mouth campaigns. Does the reception of the show feel special?
Yeah, no, it feels amazing and it feels kind of not real. Like it really feels not real. I mean, we spent a long time. Like we shot. It took us 8 months to shoot. For 6 months. 6 months into it, the show came out and people started responding to it. But for the first 6 months, I said to Noah, I was like, man, I love this show. I love this show. This is a straight no chaser show. There's well, like we
Mhm.
don't do any of the things you're supposed to do to be popular on TV. We don't have a bunch of names. We don't have a bunch of sex. We don't, there's no glitz and glam to it. It really is just medicine told in sort of like a straightforward blue collar way. And I love that. But who knows? And I think I said to him at one point, I was like, we got a screening of the first episode, and he goes, "So, what do you think?" And I go, man, I think this is going to be the kind of show that people brag about having watched, like The Wire.
It is.
You know, like The Wire or The Sopranos like back in like that old school way of doing TV shows. And so I was like, man, I love this show. It feels pretty niche. Maybe it'll be one of those like deep cut things. So to see the popular appeal that it seems to have had to audiences is just like kind of mind blowing.
Has there been a reaction from a viewer, maybe someone in the medical field that has really maybe particularly stood out to you that you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, I get people reaching out all the time, like doctors and nurses reaching out and saying thank you for telling my story in a way that I see myself represented in. And I think I had somebody reach out the other day that, and there's so many I could quote, but I had this person reach out the other day that said, "Thank you uh, for showing my story." In such a way that says that like I am interesting. My work
Mm,
interesting. My life is interesting. And nothing needs to be added to it in order for it to be interesting. You don't need
yeah.
you don't need all the Hollywood stuff, this work is worth talking about.
Now I gotta just I know I'm sorry. I was gonna say viewers also really love the Mel Langdon friendship. I know there are people who kind of ship it as a romance too. I know Taylor's already said she believes Mel's asexual, hyper professional. Nothing will ever happen there. But what do you just think about the reception to those two characters?
I think that is so funny. I love it. I love it. And I love it. I've said from the very beginning, I said to Taylor, I was like, Taylor, you remind me so much of my sister. Like my real life, so yeah, I mean, Taylor and my sister are very, very similar, and it is kind of perfect because my sister works in autism. She does adaptive technology for the schools, the public schools in North Carolina, and
Mm.
her wife runs, you know, the autism wing of a psychiatric hospital in North
Oh
Carolina.
wow.
And my nephew is autistic, and so they are both very much like primary caregivers to a lot of people
Yeah.
with autism, and it's just something about how Taylor operates and how Mel operates. I was like you just feel like my sister, and I just immediately feel this sort of like brotherly attachment to you. So the fact that the internet wants is trying to like make this a different thing is kind of insane to me.
That's what they do. My last question for you. I know in your same photo carousel, kind of wrapping up the season, one of them, you guys were all playing video games together somewhere during production. What were you playing and who was the best?
Yeah, no, Issa has a Nintendo Switch, and so she would invite us up to come play Mario Kart with her.
Ah,
And yeah, and it was great. I didn't get to join that much. All of us were working a lot, so we
yeah.
didn't have that many opportunities to relax. But every once in a while, we would all sneak up to Issa's dressing room and play Mario Kart.
Who is your character? Who's your go-to?
Toad.
Yeah,
He's small.
yeah.
He's quick. He's scrappy.
That's the way to go. It's the winning way to go.